Raquel with Paints and Glitter, and today I am coming to you with a quick tutorial on how to create some pretty embellishments, whether it be for bag toppers or a gift or a tag, anything like that that you want to make, and you can actually make it pretty inexpensively. So what I did was that I found these little butterflies as one of those sprays that you can get at your local dollar store is where I found these, and they came in a bunch of like grass, artificial grass, and as you can tell, this one here is actually is that it? No, wait, here it is. This one's really nicely embossed, so that gave me the idea that, you know, these could be used for, you know, just making embellishments. Sadly, however, that's the only one in the whole group that came embossed, and the other ones just were pretty plain. Now, what I did was that I took my Tim Holtz scissors, and on the back, because they come, let me show you, they come ready to, you know, they come stuck on the little stems for the grass. What I did was that I just took that little part there. Let's see if I can focus on that. And I just got as close to the bottom there as possible, and I just snipped that off like that. That way it would lay flat. And then what you would need to make this also is some coordinating or pretty designer paper. These are from Carolyn Vega at Tea Time and Dolls, and some of you may know that she recently did a giveaway with her paper launch, and I was one of the winners of that paper line, so I went ahead and used some of her papers. What I did was that I used a really beautiful die that I have in my collection here. That's also a butterfly. And I also used this die here from Spellbinders, and I'll show you how. This comes as a set of labels, and it's just a pretty little decorative die. And what I did was that with that label die, I cut out this shape. So let me show you again the die, and then the shape. And I cut that out of silver paper, as you can see. Then out of the butterfly die, I took some of that designer paper that from Tea Time and Dolls that she designed, and I cut out these pretty butterflies. So two of them are from this color paper here, and it has a background of doilies and pretty flowers. So I cut those, and then I cut these out of a different background that also has some pretty flowers, and the colors are very soft. And what I also did was I took my butterfly and I folded it in half so that I could just get the general shape of that butterfly, and I put it on top of some silver paper, the same silver paper that I cut that small die out of, and I cut out a butterfly shape. So basically I folded that paper in half, and I put my shape on top like so, okay, and I just cut around the border, not being extremely precise, but what I did was that the first one I traced with a pencil, okay, and then that one I cut as nicely as possible. Then I laid this on top of the rest of the paper that was all folded in half, and I went ahead and repeated the shape. Then what I did to make the edges look more like a butterfly was that I used this old pair of scissors that are from Fiskars, and they're deckle edge scissors, and I'll show you what I did there. I just went ahead and folded my paper and went along just the very edge with these scissors just to give it a frayed edge look, because I'm going for a shabby look on this. So that's why I wasn't too concerned about being extremely precise about that cut. So what you'll do is, if you have any scissors with a decorative edge, you could do, you know, doesn't really matter which, but you get the idea. The good thing about this one is that because it has that deckled edge, it does look a little bit like the the scalloped border of an actual butterfly. If you ever see the wings of a butterfly, a lot of them have that little scalloped edge, and it just looks pretty. As a bag topper, if you're making a gift, or even for the front of a card. They're not extremely dimensional, and I'll show you. I almost cut my finger there. I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to layer my butterfly, and the way that I decided to do this was that because of this paper being thinner or more delicate, and I did shape it with my bone folder just by running it along the paper like that, just to give it a little bit of lift, because this die does separate there. Okay, what I did was that I decided to place the that silver piece there to give it some stability, so that when I place the butterfly, the paper one on top, it has something to hang on to, so to speak. But to make it a little bit more shabby, what I decided to do was that on top of this, I would also cut out the butterfly shape, and let's see if I can find it. I don't know what oh, here it is. It's almost invisible. I decided to cut it out of tulle. So I don't know if that's visible there, but you may see the sheen. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to layer the tulle on top, and that's going to soften the color of that butterfly a little bit also. And I'm just going to use beacon adhesive because I am working with different types of mediums here, being this is a soft plastic, and then the tulle is, you know, fabric. But okay, so I'm going to place that on top like so. And again, I just did a loose cut of that butterfly shape, and then what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead, and because the tulle obviously is not going to use up a lot of that adhesive, then I'm just going to press that piece of paper there to grab onto the plastic that's underneath it. So that way the tulle is sandwiched between the paper and then that fabric butterfly. And I might need to put a little bit more fabric there, or adhesive, not quite sure. But the good thing is that you can also start shaping it as you're adhering this. So, I mean, you could leave it at that if you wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and add this one on top. And if you haven't seen Carolyn's collection yet, it is on Etsy. It's an absolutely beautiful paper collection. Having fun with it. So there's that butterfly on top, as you see. So it's more, you know, one more layer there. And then what I decided for this one was to just put a little bow on top, like that. And this is just silk ribbon, which is easily available, I think, from Offray. Offray is a very popular company for, you know, for embellishments or trims and fabric and that sort of thing is what I was trying to think of. So I'm just placing that little ribbon there, and my first butterfly is done. What I'm going to do with this one in particular is that I'm going to place it on this little bag that I found that I think is so pretty. This is a little mint green bag made with velvet, and I found that at the dollar store also, and I really like the color. What I did was that I selected some laces that I have in my stash, and if you see it, that's what it looks like, and it's a really soft pink, but it does have some sheen to it, and it is about, yep, 5 1/4 inches wide, and it's got that beautiful scalloped edge. So I decided that that little dollar store bag needed some Saks Fifth Avenue lace. So that's what it's gonna get. And let's see here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here. I'm not being too precise because this is shabby. I think that's how it's supposed to go, right? And because I don't want to ruin this lace, and it's so very delicate and pretty, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to dot it with the Fabri-Tac. The little tip there sometimes gives you more adhesive than you ask for there. But I'm just adding little dots here because I think, I'm going to be perfectly honest, one of the reasons I stay away from the shabby chic thing is because, well, number one, it doesn't really go with my decor, because I'm the only girl in my home, so, but the other thing is that I like clean design, and I know that this calls for a lot of layering and all that sort of thing, but I stay away from layering if it involves anything that looks messy. So that's just my personal preference, but you can do shabby chic without being messy. The next layer here that I'm going to add is another antique ribbon here that I have. This one's also pink. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm going to use this one, and this is a vintage trim that I have also. I'm going to do this one first, and I think I decided on doing that one next, so that it breaks up the pink a little bit. I think that's what I had decided. Maybe not. Maybe it was pink, pink, and then beige. What do you guys think? You'll have to let me know in the comments. I think I wanted to do a gradation of color here because I have this crochet trim also. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Although something tells me I don't need that pink. Let me see here. This is where I start taking away. I also have options. I also have this peach, which is very soft. These three colors here. And that's, you know, what we do. We change our minds, right? I think I'm going to cut it first, though. So what I'm going to do here is eyeball my measurement. I'm going to place adhesive on my ribbon here on the back, and I'm adding a very, very thin bead because it doesn't need a lot, and this will dry rather quickly. I'm sorry if I was out of frame there, but what I'm doing here is just adding a very small bead on the edge. And I did get some on my hands. Inevitably that will happen because I'm working backwards. I just realized I should have gone left to right. Here we go. Just clean my hand. And now I'm going to add this a little bit lower than the first one. And just lightly press it. So if you haven't seen these little bags, I just thought they were really sweet. The colors, that's a, you know, it's a good find, but I knew that it needed a little help. So I went ahead and got some of these laces that I haven't used in forever. This one's a crochet trim, and that one's going to be a little more frayed than the rest, but that's okay. I'm going to add that one on top, like so. Again, applying adhesive on that edge. And if you've never worked with this type of adhesive, it dries very quickly and it's good for different mediums. and it dries clear, which is why I think it's kind of popular, but it does have a learning curve. You have to be careful with it. Because I discovered that if I place it on the wrong kind of material, it will eat away at it, because it does have it has acetone in it, which I've mentioned before in other videos, but if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, then that's just a little tidbit of information if you're unfamiliar with that type of adhesive in particular. Now I've placed this one right at the very top there. I don't know if you noticed that. But right at the edge there of the bag, with the idea of having this finished off here in this direction. All of my laces were upside down because I'm filming this upside down. Okay, and that's going to be the last one there, I think, as I decide here. Let me see something. So I have another one here. So I have this one, which is very delicate, and I have this one that has flowers on it. Decisions, decisions. I think I'm going to go with the flowered one. Floral. I'm going to go ahead and cut that one here. And this will be my last trim there. Now I'm going to go ahead and place the adhesive this time on top of the crocheted part of this. It's an easier line to follow there. And then this little guy is going to go right on top. And I'm just gently patting that down. So that way that adhesive stays precisely where I put it and doesn't travel too far. I'm going to turn this around and make sure that that little edge is glued down. Now this is the back of this, and I think I'm going to leave the back as is. The little butterfly can now go here to top off this little bag, and I had considered placing a tag behind it, which I did cut out of the same paper collection just to give it a little more stability. And I think I like the way that looks. Last minute switcheroo here. I'm going to add the pearls. So I'm just running another little bead there. And I'm going to make sure that these guys stay in place. Cut the last one off. Like that. I'm trying to keep it delicate looking. Now this is a piece of foam, and there's again that that beautiful paper. I'm just going to adhere those two, and just so that it looks like a little, you know, bag charm or something like that. That's where my mind was when I cut this out. Just gonna glue those guys together. And I thought to add it here, so I'm gonna flip this around for a moment just because I'm wanting to make sure I do this correctly. And again, because this has that little piece of plastic there, I want to be a little generous with my adhesive. And I'm going to go ahead and add this here. Press it down for a moment so that it stays. And you could use hot glue, of course. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some little gems to this butterfly, just where the little flowers are up here. here's my next one, because this does have a little flower shape on the actual die. And I think I'm good to go. Maybe I'll add a little ribbon there. And I'm going to go with this color here, which is silver in my mind, even though it is kind of like a light gray. But I think I like that. Now this is why I generally don't film tutorials, is because my thinking process is not always very planned out when I make anything. So I hope that you guys can bear with me as I choose what to do here. But I think the end result is worth it. So I've just strung threaded two pieces of ribbon through here, and I'm trying to be a bit generous as far as the length, because I want it to be long enough there. Now on the edges here, I will burn the edges of this, but for now I'm just going to cut it, try to cut it, do a clean cut. I was using my fabric scissors there. Tie both of those together like so. And I'm gonna, there we go. I think also that this pretty beige ribbon kind of cuts down on the darkness of the gray. I just can't promise you that I can tie a perfect bow with two ribbons. I don't know if I've ever done that. Maybe. I'll give it a try though. I really like that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make sure those are layered nicely. So I would like some feedback in the comment section. If you could tell me what kind of projects do you prefer to have tutorials on? Do you prefer the shabby chic look, or do you prefer clean and simple? I'm just trying to get an idea of what kind of viewers are watching my videos. I noticed that a lot of you like tutorial videos, and God bless you for having the patience to watch a person like me make anything. What are your thoughts on tutorials, and what types of styles do you prefer? Because I want to get to know you guys, and I get, I'm very happy to read the comments, of course. This is such a beautiful creative community, and I've gotten to know such awesome people, so I am very interested in that. This is my little altered butterfly on top of that little tag there. And it's just, loosely adhered here. As you can tell, this whole thing moves up and down. Nice and clean, as I like my projects to be. But it is very delicate and girly. And this is going to be full of a bunch of other altered butterflies. As you can tell, I have a handful here, so I'm going to keep making them. For this butterfly, I selected some ribbons and trims from my stash. So I'm going to be layering those, and I've already adhered the silver and pink butterflies together. Just going to place a small bead of glue here, and I'm going to glue this on top like so, with a piece of lace back here to cover that up. And then this pink ribbon, just on the body here. And I cut it to match the V line there of the butterfly. And then what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to place the next paper butterfly on top of that. Okay, so place this here. Paper butterfly. And I'm lining everything up with the top V line there because of the fact that I'm trying to keep this, you know, looking shabby, and of course I forgot one layer. Apply pressure there. That looks much better. And then let's not forget the pearls. So I'm adding the adhesive and then the pearls on top. Gently pressing. Okay, so this one is, I think, butterfly number 3. This one's got, trying to make sure I don't get any glue strings, but there's that one. I really like it. It's very dainty, very pretty. So there's that one. Here I have 2 pieces of very, very intricate lace and or fabric. I don't know how to describe it, but it's got a weave there. Maybe it's better seen that way. And then in between, as you can probably see, there's some wire. So what I've done is that I've taken just a very thin paintbrush, and I'm taking that wire and I'm holding the wire on top of the paintbrush with one finger or my thumb, and then taking that wire and pulling it along there to twirl it. And then the thinner, of course, the paintbrush, the tighter the curl. And then I can remove the paintbrush and I'm left with this. Hopefully you guys can see that. So if you see that, it's just very curly. Okay, you can do that with just any thin gauge wire. Sandwich it between 2 pieces of lace. This is good for, you know, leftover laces and trims. And that is now going to be the center of this butterfly. And since we're going for that shabby look, I'm just going to go ahead and put that one there. Or I'm sorry, I meant to put this butterfly first. Sorry about that. And there we go. Then I'm going to put the tulle. And this one I'm going to cut down a tiny bit in the center, just as I did another one previously. And just adhere it there. Cutting in the center just makes it a little more pliable. I'm applying that in the middle there with the hot glue, and then the piece of fabric on top. Because it's wired, then it can still be shaped. And let me see, do I want to put this on the middle there? No, I don't. What I'm going to do is I'll top it off with another butterfly. Or should I leave it? I do have another color. Just trying to find. Let's see here. Here it is. I knew I had another color. So I'm going to use that one instead. I'm going to go ahead and apply my adhesive. Put my butterfly on top. And I'm going to put a ribbon a bow on top of this one. Just having some fun here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that there. Pressing to make sure it stays. And add my tool for shine. And pressing that gently so that I don't burn myself. And on top of that, I'm going to add this wire. Alright, so now that it looks like a flamingo's been hanging out on top of my desk, I decided to just add a little bit of that on top of my butterfly here. So this will be the only one that has a little pearl topper. I have feathers everywhere. And the pink center there, which I hope remains fluffy. So there's that butterfly. And I can't forget the little gems, because this has been the one thing they all have on the little flowers here. And I think this finishes my, oh, I have this one I forgot to put gems on. And unfortunately now I have feathers everywhere, but oh my gosh. Let's see here. Oops. Okay. Got my gems. Alright, I think I'm done. So I'm gonna get this very hot glue gun out of the way. Alright. Now, let's see. What do I have here? I've got this one with the little streamers. My flamingo butterfly. That's what I'm calling that one. I've got my one with the pearl center, very classic. They're all embossed, of course. Let me see if I can move these so that you guys can see them better. And the one with the wired ribbon. And the one on the bag, which has the little ribbon there. So that's my project, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to get your feedback, and I hope that you've enjoyed this. Stay tuned for my next video, because you're going to see why I made this little bag, because it will be going along with another little gift. So if you want, keep watching the videos and you'll see what this little bag will go with. And I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. Bye-bye.